Welcome to Scrum Prep School, where Scrum is made simple and success is made possible. My name is Lawdia Massaley, and I am so excited to talk to you today as you continue on your journey to your job offer as an aspiring Scrum Master, perhaps an already certified Scrum Master, looking to find your path forward and understand what is your next step. In today's video, I am talking to you about what I am calling a Scrumrriculum. Scrumrriculum, that is not a phrase you are familiar with, but you are familiar with the phrase curriculum. And I want to share with you first the purpose for creating Scrumrriculum, for the purpose of desiring to have this and sharing with you on my own journey to pivoting from teaching to tech and becoming a Scrum Master. I found it so difficult to piece it all together, to put it all together, to know what to prioritize, when to prioritize it, how to prioritize it. And so I want for us to get into today's video by first defining curriculum. A curriculum is the content and the plan for instruction to successfully complete a program of study. It is the gathered information that has been considered relevant to a specific topic. A curriculum is made up of instructional resources. It is made up of methods and standards. It is made up of assessments that are going to help learners develop skills that are critical and help them to develop the knowledge that is needed. What is so exciting for you if you are an aspiring Scrum Master is that, listen, there is a plan and there is a path forward. If you feel stuck, if you feel lost, confused, if you feel, honestly, because this is what I was actually feeling, overwhelmed. I see the Scrum Guide and it's simple. I read the Agile Manifesto. There was not so much there to read. There was nothing that was this great big body of knowledge. But as you begin to learn, there is more beneath the surface. So how do you take the deep dive required? And I believe that a curriculum is key. So in giving you this definition of what a curriculum is, simply put, Scrumrriculum is the total learning experience of a Scrum Master, or that I believe a Scrum Master, and in this case, an aspiring Scrum Master needs. It is your path forward. It is your lesson plan. It is your program of study. What do you need to know? What do you need to learn? How are you going to gather, get, maintain, retain that information that you are learning? All right, so let's break down the units of study. Let's simplify this. Remember, here at Scrum Prep School, I'm all about Scrum being simple, because simplifying things, is meant to make it relatable, practical, and possible for you to understand and to also begin to implement. Your units of study are going to be 3 units of study. And I want for you to, again, think big picture. Think program of study. Think not just one subject, but everything. Let's make it relatable, actually. When you were in high school, you would go in as a 9th grader, and your counselor, you'd have a time where they would say, hey, listen, you are starting here. But in order for us to hand you a diploma for you to get from here into the 12th grade and not beyond just the 12th, to graduate. This is the curriculum. This is the path, whether you're on college prep, tech prep, whatever it was called, they showed you the big picture, the full picture. And I believe that for a lot of people, you can start and it looks great because, listen, we're talking, you can do this job and this is the amount of money that you can make. And there are a lot of things that are presented that make the role look possible. But then when the journey begins and things are not landing the way that you felt or feel that they should, or not happening as quickly that you can, as they can or could, you want to remember that perhaps you've been missing pieces of the big picture. Furthermore, when it comes to the certification process, you, yes, invest in it. It is an investment of time, and it is an investment of study and finances and your resources. But you'll be told, you can't learn anything in 2 days and do so much with it. It is not in your human capacity, ability. That's not the way that we learn. That's not how we're supposed to. That's not how we're supposed to learn. That is a good way in a process, but immersion is going to take you a longer time. It requires more, and that's good to know. So that getting certified is a great starting point. Having CSM, PSM, those certifications on your resume is a plus indeed. But many times you're not being quizzed on what you were, tested on for the certification. I mean, you're having a conversation with organizations and companies during your interviews that want to really lean into the knowledge that you are going to bring into the role and the expertise that you bring. All right. So I've stated enough. The 3 units of study, education, is the first. The second is your experience. And the third is expertise. Now, I created a Scrum sheet with the Scrumrriculum, literally breaking all of these things down, and they are available to you. And so please do be sure to follow, be sure to share, be sure to engage, and let's connect so that you have access to all of these resources. They're made for you and with you in mind. When we're looking at the units of study are again giving you the big picture. So anything that speaks to education, and we're going to break these down, will fall under unit of study 1. Anything that is helping you build your experience, unit of study 2. Anything that helps you lean into expertise, unit of study 3. Okay? Education, your Agile and Scrum foundations. Experience, practical strategies for execution and implementation. Expertise, skills. Those skills being developed, skills development that set you apart. Let's lean in. Unit of study 1, education. Building a foundation of understanding of Agile methodology and the Scrum framework is essential for anyone aspiring to become a Scrum Master. Listen, I want for you to engage. Don't just think as you're on this journey about being a Scrum Master and put your blinders on and forget that you were a student and forget that you have transferable skills and forget that you have lived experiences that are going to do what? Be beneficial to you on your journey. All of us have gone through some form of education at the elementary, middle, high school level, some college, all of college, graduate degrees, whatever the extent of your education experience was, you must tap into it. No one is impressed by the fact that you, as an adult, know your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s. But you, as an adult, know that you would not be able to be impressive in your reading, in your speaking, in your knowledge, if you did not have the foundation of your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s. Can I get an amen? Amen. And so it is the same with Scrum. It is the same with anything. I am practicing Duolingo right now, and they're not having some full-on conversation with me and we just jump to level 10. When you're learning a new language, they literally teach you what? The alphabet, the numbers, basic colors, words, because you are a beginner. And so if you are new on this journey and you are diving into certain videos and doing certain things, and you always find that there's a disconnect and you don't quite understand what is being taught, what is being explained, that is an indication that there's some level of a knowledge gap for you, and you need to take what they're talking about and say, what is that? Do I understand? So on the education level, the education unit of study, you are focusing on the basics of Scrum and Agile, and you're building a foundation. That means you know the Agile values, okay? Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Can you can you say them? Do you know them, right? So I'm talking about the basics. Do you know the 12 Agile principles? Do you know various vocabulary in terms what they mean? What does definition of done mean? Definition of ready? What does it mean for a team to be an agile team? What is the SDLC? What are all those things? The basics that you can begin to learn. There's so much valuable information out there. Are you learning? Are you building that foundation? What about the frameworks? There are many Agile frameworks. Do you know them? You don't have to know them in depth, but remember, these are the basics. This is the moment where you're building that foundation. So read up on it, an article here, watch a video there. Begin to develop that appetite. Begin to develop that knowledge base. Begin to develop that understanding, and make sure that you have not just a foundation, but a firm foundation, because all foundations are not equal. You want to understand the 3 pillars of Scrum, the ceremonies. These are all examples, but there are basic things that you need to know. The what? What does it mean? Okay, so I'm talking about definitions. I'm talking about understanding the concepts and being able to say, I might not be at the level where I've done it, but I know what it is. So that's Unit 1, study. Now, for our second unit, this is experience. Now, remember I said that you have to build a firm foundation. So you cannot dive into experience, darling, if you have not built the foundation of education. Because those that are experienced, those that are the ones that have that practical, real world understanding, also have that which is learned, foundational, elementary, all the things you can think about, the basics. So while theoretical knowledge is essential, practical experience allows a Scrum Master to understand the nuances and dynamics of applying Scrum principles in real-world scenarios. This first-hand experience helps in making informed decisions, addressing challenges effectively, and optimizing team performance. Now you're saying, okay, I've gotten the education, that's the basics. You're telling me that there's a second unit of experience. Well, how do I get that without having the job or being given the chance to do the work? Well, I'm glad you asked, because there's a note here. Applying your transferable skills and your user experience is vital to this unit of study. Now, we didn't come up with a phrase, what's that word there? Experience. I want for you to understand that you already have skills and that you already have user experience that can do what? Help you begin to cultivate an understanding of experience. So with Unit 1, I have the understanding of what a sprint planning is. But now, as I'm beginning to build on that foundation, I begin to look into, study, find resources that help guide me into how to have a collaborative and effective sprint planning. Not just speaking to the what a sprint planning is, but how can we collaboratively, effectively, efficiently, successfully sprint plan. You're developing those concepts, that understanding, and you are now building a case study for yourself, finding the resources that would lean into the experience of it and not just the explanation or the definition of it, okay? You want to distinguish where you're being offered, okay, this is speaking to just basic definition, but this is giving me some insight into the experience. Also, we take away the word sprint and we're left with the word planning. Again, can you put on your hat where this is now relatable? What does good planning look like? What are some things that I can add to what I'm seeing about what sprint planning is and say, oh yes, because planning requires some level of preparation. So when we come in as a team, this is why we have backlog refinement. It has set us up with a backlog that's refined because we were preparing the entire time to come in and do some really good planning, okay? Team conflict resolution, for example, you might have to speak to team dynamics. You might have to speak to conflict resolution. Well, that is not restricted to a Scrum team. Come on, if you are a mom and you have kids, you understand conflict resolution. If you are a human being, you have siblings, you have parents, you have co-workers, you've experienced conflicts, and you've had to have some level of resolution. So put on that thinking cap. Let's get critical. Come on. I want to get to thinking. All right, actively listening and being able to facilitate effectively. So again, I'm not just looking at all these Scrum ceremonies and I have the sprint plan and I have a sprint retrospective and I have a sprint review and I have daily sync ups or DSUs, daily scrums. I want you to think now about, what does it take and what am I doing? How am I contributing in a way that where the facilitation is effective? It's not drawn out. I'm just not hearing myself talk or saying something to say something, but I'm being effective. So we want to build that unit of study of experience. And then last but not least is expertise. Now, establishing expertise and operating in excellence as a Scrum Master involves a combination of continuous learning, okay, practical experience, okay, and honing essential skills, okay. So you mean to tell me that expertise will come from doing units of study 1 and 2 over and over? Now you're thinking. So if you have a strong foundation of education, the key is that you were developing the skill of learning, being a learner, embracing a mindset of continuous improvement, reading, reflecting, refining. And if you are building on the experience unit of study and you're looking for resources and you're tapping into what I'm sharing it with Scrum Prep School and you're looking for that which is practical and relatable, and you're now beginning to develop a way of thinking, a way of looking at the work that you do. So again, problem solving abilities, critical thinking, developing your own professional philosophy, knowing how to put the Scrum values, the Agile values into your own words. Now there's a level of expertise that you bring to the table, that you bring to the team, that you bring to the organization. And I'm here to tell you that you can begin to speak with confidence. And in this third unit of study, you build your expertise by ensuring that your experience, that your education are coming together to really allow you to be a difference maker as a Scrum Master. But it starts with that intention to learn, the intention to continue to learn, and then to also have always just a sense of practical experience. And I would also say practical excellence, developing skills that really transform your role and the part you play as a Scrum Master. Listen, Scrum Prep School is just me for now, but we're speaking things into existence. Scrum Prep School is committed to supporting you in building a strong foundation as a Scrum Master. And I am going to encourage you to subscribe to Scrum Prep School on Instagram, TikTok, on YouTube at Scrum Prep School. You can visit scrumprepschool.com for more information. You can email me, Lawdia at scrumprepschool.com. You can also join the email list to get resources and newsletters each week. But thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in our next session.